Hello and welcome, I'm Chris and this is the hair tutorial channel, and on this channel I give you videos on everything from cutting, colouring, hair up to product advice. So on this video I'm going to be looking at what colour is right for you and for your salon. There is a multitude of colours on the market for you to choose from. Everything from Goldwell, Wella, L'Oreal, Matrix, Redken, the list goes on. But which one is right for you, your salon and your clients? Now, having been a technician for a colour company, I know that there are always things that other brands have that I would love to have in my range. Every range has its strengths and its weaknesses, and there are certain advantages to different colour brands. Now, you have to also take into account everything from your ethics. You may want to have an ammonia-free colour, PPD-free colour, which will limit your availability of the colour ranges. You may be limited by what you can afford to use or what your clients will actually afford to pay. All of these factors are going to take effect in your choice. What I'm going to do here is give you a little bit of background to help you decide, is it coverage that's most important? Is it vibrancy that's most important? Is it lift? Is it blondes? Is it toning? Because depending on what you do as a majority of your clients, so for instance, if you're doing a lot of blondes, why are you carrying a colour range that is fantastic in their reds and their coppers? Because you could be missing out on achieving your goals with another colour range. So here's a brief overview of just a few of the colour ranges that are available. So when a colour brand makes a colour, they decide what primarily their underlying tone is going to be. And this can be anything from blue, green or warm. Now again, this is going to have an effect on the results that you get. So generally a blue colour is going to be darker and it's going to be more matte. Again, green tends to be more ashy, neutralising the red and giving you no warmth. And then of course you have warm colours. Generally these colour companies will say they're neutral, but they err on the side of warm, and you'll see this because they're particularly good on their golds, their coppers and their reds, really bright, really vibrant, yet on their blondes they tend to come up a little bit too golden, or you may get root glow quite a lot. So let's give you some examples of some blue colours, the advantages and the disadvantages. So in the blue category we have Schwarzkopf, TG and XP. Now the advantages to having a blue colour is coverage and depth. They are fantastic at this. However, on the flip side, they can be darker than the majority of other colours. So for instance, Schwarzkopf, when I've gone in and converted salons over that are using Schwarzkopf, the client may say that they're a base 5. But when I get my swatches out and have a look in comparison to the colour brand I'm using, they're actually a 3. They are that much darker. Now, all of these ranges tend to be really good in their depth and their coverage, and really good as well in their reds and their purples. They're also really good when you come higher up into their blondes. Because they're a blue base, it means you get very little warmth coming through, and they'll be very sort of ash neutral. Now then we move on to our greens, and our greens cover quite a large spectrum, everything from Wella to Goldwell to 4 to Cume to Reef. Now again, there is a definite advantage to using the green. It's really good at coverage and it's really good at neutralising out any unwanted warmth. But even here you're going to find a difference. So for instance, I worked in a college for a while and they used Goldwell. Goldwell were fantastic on bases sort of 6 and below. However, they tended to have a lot of green in, and their reds could be a little bit sludgy and not as vibrant as some of the other colour brands. Also, when you got up into sort of a 7, 8 and 9 in their blondes, you could see a slight green reflect coming through in those blondes. So although you got a very matte flat coverage, this may not be something that you want in the colour, meaning that you get the coverage and the vibrancy. Now when you move over to sort of the neutral or the warmth, you have a lot of colour brands. This is where your L'Oreals, your Matrixes, your Joels, your Affinages all sit. Now they may say they're neutral, but they're not. They are warm, and you'll see this. You get very bright reds, very bright coppers, but then on their blondes, you'll see a lot of warmth, and you're going to have to add in extra ash to neutralise that. You may also as well find that you get a little bit more root glow than you do with the greens or the blue. So this is the first factor to take into account when you're picking a colour range. If the majority of your clients are young and they're having balayage and bleaches and toners, you're going to want something that's specifically good in that blonde range. And what do those clients want? Do they want some more ash in their hair? On the flip side, you may just do a lot of older clients that don't have balayage or highlights and simply go for global colour, where matte coverage is the most important thing. In which case, maybe the blues or something like the Goldwell or the Wellas, which are very sort of flat and not multi-tonal, are going to be the right colour for you. Now again, don't jump in the comments and slay me for what I'm saying. This is just my opinion and my experience of using the colours. And of course, if you intermix them, you cocktail, you add in intensifiers, you can do amazing things with all of these colour ranges. And like I said, there's always something in each range that I am envious that they have. And certainly in the UK, what I see is most salons sticking with one brand. 95% primarily just stocking Wella or Goldwell or Schwarzkopf. And I feel this limits your ability to deliver things to clients. When I go abroad and work, I see a lot more diversity. Now, like I said, there's many factors to take into account here. If you want to associate yourself with a brand because you want to get up on stage, do photo shoots and enter competitions and become an ambassador, certainly stocking just that range is going to put you into a good position. If you have an ecological or an environmental salon, you're limited by the choices you can make because ammonia-free, PPD-free, there simply aren't as many colours available on the market. And then of course there's the salon image. Now, salon image is of course very important, but certainly with the colour brands, these are always held out the back. And although you may get posters and advertising to display in the salon, your client is probably never ever gonna see it. So you could use a colour range out the back, a styling range out the front, and they will probably presume that you're using the same range of colour as the styling range that's out the front. And of course that's simply not true in a lot of circumstances. Now it can also as well come down to the factor of what you're trained with, and I think this of course is a very big factor in choosing. You're trained with a certain brand, the chances are that's what you're going to stick with, because there's this concern that you won't understand the new range because they all have subtle differences. But so many of these companies offer amazing free education, and there is so much to be found online now. So whether you're thinking about changing colour range or you're having issues with a certain colour range and looking to change, really do an in-depth dive. There's lots of Facebook groups and tutorials, and when you contact those companies, they want your business. Gone are the days where you would sign exclusive deals and get massive discounts because you were the salon carrying that colour. The playing field has been much more evened out. You really are in control now. And all of these colour companies are vying for your business. Now please, if you use a colour that I haven't mentioned and you know the underlying tone and it has advantages and disadvantages, pop them in the comments so that we can all learn from your experience. And I'll see you next time.